What is going on, friends? We are making our first long video for Terraria, so thank you for stopping by. Now today, we're going to be killing the Eater of Worlds. And the Eater of Worlds can be found in the Corruption Underground. Now, we've never fought him before, so we have no clue what to expect. But we do know that we're probably going to need enough room down here to move around. So what I'm doing right now is just cleaning out this spot so we can set up some platforms and we can move around and maneuver when we're fighting him. So essentially the Eater of Worlds is a much bigger version of that Devourer. So I did bring a couple items. Obviously we're going to have a campfire for the regen, and we also have a heart lantern that will also help with regen. And I'm assuming it would probably make a lot of sense to bring some potions for this fight as well. Iron skin is a great option, and there are a couple other ones, but we'll talk about that when we get a little bit further in. So now we have ourselves a little bit of an arena, and I know what you're thinking right now. This looks like a pretty small arena for how big the Eater of Worlds is, and you're very right. And you will see why this fight took 2 chances. I mean, we do clean up the sides a little bit here to give us a little bit more breathing room just to see where he's coming from. But the thing about this monster, this boss, is that he is so big, and when he coils up, I mean, it takes up, you know, pretty much your whole screen. So you're probably thinking, with the experience that you have, that this is not going to be a big enough arena to fight this boss. But anyways, we drank a couple potions here. Obviously, we gave ourselves some thorns, some iron skin. There were the archery. We also ate a burger for that extra major improvements buff. So here are all of the things we have going for us, and I'm thinking, yeah, we'll be totally fine. So we'll just crack open this shadow orb and let's get this going. So already, once I saw the size of him, I'm like, oh, there's going to be no way that this is going to work. I mean, as soon as he started to coil like that, I'm like, can I even get out of, like, his grasp, right? And I also made a big error by putting up a border around the platforms, because then I couldn't move. So, obviously, I'm a straight noob. We're a straight noob here at FFG, just playing Terraria, but we're learning a lot, right? So, we will never use blocks again. They are very restrictive, and they don't give you a lot of room to move. I started to feel like not too bad at this point, because I was taking out a lot of his individual links, and my health was still half, so I had him going pretty well. But I do make a couple crucial errors, like right here, I couldn't move. There was just nowhere I could go. And for some reason, I made the fatal error of not using, like, I drank no potions, guys. I think having it on the 6 setting is just, it's too far for my fingers to move when I'm clicking, and we died. And we literally had him so close. It was so unfortunate. But we learned a lot from that fight. We went back to the drawing board, and we made this arena much bigger. So by giving us more space, and obviously by taking out those big blocks, we can move a lot better, right? And that was the major problem that we ran into, was just we had no room to move when he was coiled, so we were always taking damage. So this game feels a lot like if you can prepare for the battle, then you should be totally fine, unless you end up in like a really bad position. So here we are. We've got our arena set up a little bit better this time. We drink our iron skin potions, our thorn potions. We eat our burger. Get ourselves all of these improvements that we can to make sure this fight can be a little bit easier. And then I go to hit this shadow orb, and I learned something else. For some reason, guys, I thought that we only had to hit 1 after we failed, but we actually had to hit 3. So now I was against the clock. I had all of those potions already consumed, and we needed to find 2 more shadow orbs. So I bombed myself into finding the other shadow orbs, and this is where things get a little bit crazy. Because as soon as we hit that shadow orb, guys, the fight starts, right? And it's super risky, but we have no choice. So at this point, I'm like, okay, no problem. We'll be able to get back to the arena. Nope, we're like trapped, right? I'm like, how are we gonna ever get back? So I'm like, okay, change of plans. We're just gonna use this super open space and just fly back and forth, shooting him with like as much range damage as we can. So at this point I was feeling like pretty good. Like obviously I took a lot of damage, but the main thing was to get out of that hole. I was expecting him to like take a little bit longer to spawn, but he was really quick. So I was thinking, okay, like maybe I can make it back to the arena. But then I just started to think about how much open space there was here, and I'm like, I just think it makes the most sense to just fight him in this open spot. So I'm not sure if this was already kind of open for us when we got here, or if I did a lot of the mining to open this up. But either way, this ended up being quite a bit of room to bounce back and forth and shoot him. One problem we did run into a lot though was those altars. Like we kept getting blocked on them, so that was a really big problem. So just a little bit of a tip there: if you can, just clear out the space so you can fly smoothly and efficiently back and forth. You don't have to worry about getting stuck. But at this point we're feeling pretty good. Like once again, for some reason I just forget to consume potions when I'm fighting a boss. So that's one thing I know that I have to work on. It's just something that, you know, becomes forgotten because I'm switching from the space gun to the sword and to the bow. And that's another thing, is that I want to kind of focus on one kind of damage, whether it is the space gun or, you know, or the bow, just to have less to think about when I'm fighting. But at this point I'm feeling pretty good. Like we're getting health back. He's, you know, we've killed a lot of his links, so we're not going to get attacked as often. And, you know, we're over our half health still, so things are looking quite good. And yeah, so we just keep fighting him. These Hellfire arrows did really well against him. Lots of damage. Very, very good damage. And that is how we killed the Eater of Worlds. Obviously not the cleanest boss fight you'll ever find, but it went over very, very well despite all of the things that we learned from it. And, you know, as a newbie, this is how we learn, by trying and by experimenting, and we learned a lot from this fight. So we have to keep in mind, we have to pick one damage type or two damage types, not be trying to flip through three. We want to remember to use our potions, and also we just learned how the Eater of Worlds, you know, his attacks and how big he is, and we learned a lot from this fight, guys. So hopefully this video maybe will help you kind of understand a good approach when you're fighting him, or maybe what's necessary for gear when you're fighting him. We had the Ancient Shadow Helmet, and we had 2 pieces of fossil gear. And then we were using the Shield of Cthulhu, which obviously did us no good in that fight at all. And then we used the Flying Carpet, which I think was a huge saver for us in that fight, because we were able to just fly back and forth. And then, yeah, we ended up picking up that Worm Scarf, which is awesome. 17% reduction in damage. We think that we're going to be using that, so we're going to have to see if that becomes kind of an item that we're going to have on our character often. But we'll have to see. But thanks for tuning in, guys.